Alright everyone, welcome back. Today we are making Gambia's national dish. It's called Domada. We've had some dishes here where I'm like, they're pretty loose with the rules. This has to be the loosest one, alright? Let me explain what you're gonna need and what you can substitute where. You're gonna need peanut butter and tomatoes. Those are really the only, and some kind of onion. Those are the only like 3 ingredients you have to have. I'm making it with beef. You can also use chicken. You can also use nothing. Half the recipes that I saw said whatever you have recently slaughtered. So yeah, any meat will do. I have a white onion. I also saw green onion and yellow onion and just onion listed in general. If you have an oniony type thing, use it. Garlic in most of the recipes, not all. Peanut butter in every single one. This is the only real requirement. It's not even peanut butter, it's ground peanuts, which is what this is. This is just peanuts and salt, this brand. Tomatoes. You can either use fresh tomatoes. It's not tomato season, so I'm gonna use canned diced tomatoes. They're just better. Or you could just use tomato paste only. I saw some with that. They prefer to have Scotch bonnet in it. I don't have the ability to get Scotch bonnets here, but we have Scotch bonnet hot sauce. You normally just put a whole Scotch bonnet pepper in there, and that's it. Vegetable wise, I have potatoes, and I have sweet potatoes. Got some yams. Yams are not supposed to be in this. It's supposed to be pumpkin. I'm allergic to pumpkin. Can't eat pumpkin. I'm substituting yams. They look the same, similar texture. Other vegetables that you can include. African cabbage, don't got that. Can't find that one. Carrots, don't really like them. Not a fan of carrots, they can go in there. Okra, also not, they're kind of gooey, kind of slimy. Not a big okra guy, figured I wouldn't include it. By the way, the recipes say any one individual or all can go in. It's up to you. Okra, not a fan. Not a big okra guy. So yeah, I'm rolling with sweet potatoes and potatoes. Several of the posts said any vegetable that is in season is perfectly fine to use. But with that, let's get started. So I'm gonna make mine in a pressure cooker. You can just boil this on the stove for a couple hours if you want. That's a you thing, I would like to eat this at some point tonight, and it's already 8 p.m. So I'm gonna pressure cook. What you're gonna need is enough oil to just cover the bottom of pot. Nothing crazy. You don't want to overdo the oil here because this is staying in your dish. You're not removing it later. Now, granted, a lot of other African cuisine has had large amounts of oil in them, so you could probably go pretty heavy with it. I just would prefer not to. Now, the first step is to sear your meat. I'm just gonna hit it with a little bit of salt first. You don't need to go too crazy here with that front. I know you've probably heard of the term like mise en place, right? Which is where you're supposed to do everything before you start cooking. That's a great way to do things, right? Great way to get things done here. I'm not doing that right now, obviously, because it's not as good quality for cooking videos. Damn, there was some meat on this knife. Good thing this is all getting cooked. Just as far as cameras go, it just looks better when you're doing more stuff, when you're really chefing it up here. Once you hear your oil kind of sizzling, go ahead and get some beef in the pot. You don't want to overcrowd. Oh, I know I seem to not say measurements of ingredients that often. It's because a lot of these things, there aren't measurements. But from here on, I think I'll just try and say what I'm doing so you get some measurements. So this is 2 pounds of beef. This is an onion. And this is a whole bulb of garlic if you couldn't figure those two out. Every single time I peel garlic, I'm tempted just to eat the skin because it is just so annoying. I've seen like hacks online of people like putting it in a bowl and shaking it and stuff, and like that's cool, but I don't believe them. The only reason why I don't believe them is because like there's a lot of people out there who cook online who also check like little hacks like that, and they'll do it and be like, look, it works. Wow, that's so convenient and cool. And then they immediately go back to peeling garlic like this. They just immediately go back to not using it. So how cool is it really? This is not great quality beef, huh? Because it is very wet in there. I want to boil the meat. I would like to sear it. Creative solutions. Pull the meat out. Just let it, I don't know, steam all the meat juice out of there, I guess. Get this stuff in your food processor and get it sliced up nice and fine. This might be overfilling it. We'll see. Yeah, look at that. Beautiful. The rest of the meat in there. All right, now that you're done with that, let's work on cleaning the potatoes. I like my potatoes skin on. And we're just gonna break these down into, the size pieces that you would want to have in your mouth. I'm going with a good variety of different sizes, just to keep things texturally interesting. Clearly this pressure cooker wasn't meant for browning beef, even though it's got a sear option on it. This beef is just too dang juicy. It's fine, we pivot. Let's deal with the sweet potatoes. Remember a minute ago I said don't crowd the pan? That was a young, naive man. That didn't know what he was talking about. That was a pre-extra juicy beef kind of guy. Oh no. Oh, I need you. Okay, beef has been browned. Get the beef off. Honestly, there's way less. That's what you get for buying low quality stew beef. I mean, you're supposed to use stew beef. You can't really get high quality stew beef, to be fair. But it's just the unfortunate reality in which we live in. Get the pressure cooker going again. You're gonna wanna get all this onion and garlic in it. Still on sear mode. Get that in the oil. Tomato paste, we are using 6 ounces. We're just gonna use this entire small can. If I can get it open. My can opener really struggles with these tiny cans. Sorry, down there. God dang it. This shit might be a lost cause. Try the other side. Oh my god, it's just the other side. The other side latches right on. Tomato paste. Get it in there to sear off a little bit too. Now back to slicing up your sweet potatoes. As is tradition, I forgot something. This is the tomato and chicken bouillon cube. You need one of these, or not. You don't really need one. Some recipes said use it, some didn't. I think it's more of a, do you want it to be tasty? Some of them said put like 3 of these things in there, which I feel like is a bit much. Let's keep moving here. Grab your ground up peanuts, and you're gonna wanna mix the oil back in. And grab about a cup's worth. Put it into a bowl. Now put in a cup or 2 of water. You're gonna mix it on up. This would have been better if it was warm water. Let's fix this. Minute in the microwave should do. There we go. See how it's mixing together nice? That's what you want. You want this to become basically fully liquid, because all that you want left are the chunks of nut that's left over in the grinding process. So you can take those out. I think it needs to be hotter. I think I need some more water to dilute more. Another minute. Back over here, this is looking pretty done. Let's get the tomato in there. I'm adding in 1 can of tomatoes. You could instead add in 2 or 3 ripe tomatoes. Look at that. All right, that is much better now that it's nice and hot. You can see all those little leftover peanut chunks in there. That's what we need to get out, right? That's why we did this instead of just adding it straight in. I did see a few recipes where they just toss it straight on in there too. Don't think that if you skip this step that you're doing something that wrong. Okay, now once you have that done, take this, get it right on into the bowl again, more water, and just repeat that step 1 more time. Also mix this up. At this point, I'm gonna add in those Scotch bonnets. I'm also gonna cut the heat, because I don't like how much this is glugging. It's the only word that I can use for this is glugs. I'm gonna say like that much maybe. You don't have to necessarily add heat to this dish if you don't want it, but traditionally you put a Scotch bonnet in there and let it steep with the stew the entire time, or you chop it up and throw it in. Like one version, you just poke a hole and throw it into the soup. All right, that's done, mixed up, pour this in. See how little is left over now? That's what you want. You wanted just the chunks. I'm thinking I just, didn't do enough the first time around. Didn't mix it enough. That looks like peanut chunks. Let me try it. That's gross. Wow, who'd have thought boiled peanut chunks would just be this gross? All right, mix this in. Get it nice and homogeneous. Now, out of curiosity, I would like to try it. See, that was mostly the taste for salt levels. I think it needs a second Maggie cube. Now we need to get the vegetables in here. How hot is this? Oh, it's still very hot. Also get the beef back in there. The liquid doesn't quite cover everything. Go ahead and just add some more water in on top. I'm gonna go ahead and put the lid on it. I'm gonna pressure cook this for 45 minutes and come back and check on it. I'll see you guys then. Okay, so it has been an hour. I let it cook for longer than the 45 that I put it in for because it didn't pressurize until a little over 30 minutes in. As you can see now, sweet potatoes are falling apart. Potatoes are done. Meat is done. Nice orange stew. So let's give it a shot. All right, here we go. So it smells really good. Very strong peanut scent. I guess I'll start with a nice piece of meat. I feel like the meat kind of overpowered things here. Let's try a sweet potato. Oh wow, okay. There's a good bit of contrast between the sweet potato and this peanut sauce. The peanut sauce is delicious. It's very tomato heavy, I would say. It's kind of like a peanut tomato base. I mean, I guess that's all that you put in there, right? What am I saying? Obviously, it's gonna taste like peanuts and tomatoes, Chris. But that's really what it tastes like. It just kind of tastes like tomatoes and peanut butter. It isn't bad. I definitely didn't add enough Scotch bonnet. I could for sure use some more heat because I'm getting almost no spice. Also, it tastes like it might need some salt too. I wasn't really sure on salt levels because like the peanut butter has salt in it, right? So I figured I would salt here at the end. It's great with the rice. You know, as far as dishes go, this one's pretty easy, like very easy. It's just chop stuff up, put it in a pot, hit play. I'd say make it yourself if you're in the mood to try some new cuisine, you know, get into a bit of African cooking. I would definitely say use a good bit more Scotch bonnet. I mean, unless you don't like heat, but like this is almost like, there's almost no heat to this dish in my opinion right now. So I would definitely say add some more heat to it if you can. Go ahead and share this with a friend so they can also watch the video, but then not cook the dish, and I'll see you guys next time. Okay, everyone, it's me the next day. Remember how there was like lemon juice in the first shot, but I never came back to it? That's because you were supposed to add some lemon juice at the end, like the squeeze of a lemon or two. You don't have to. Once again, another thing that wasn't really required for this dish, but was in some of them. You know, if you happen to have some citrus on hand, you could use it. Let me add that in and give it a taste. By the way, let me just say, this is the most filling thing on the planet. I ate it last night and felt like a brick just slammed me in the stomach. I don't mean that in a bad way. It's just I was very full after, because it's peanuts and potato, you know, sweet potatoes too, all very filling ingredients. I added a lot more hot sauce into this. Now there's actually some heat. Lemon makes it good. Lemon makes a large improvement, actually. Makes it good is bad terminology. It's already tasty. This is a good dish. I would say make this one if you want to try it. But the lemon adds like a nice acid to cut through a lot of that fat and just kind of balances the whole thing out. So I would say definitely make sure to include the lemon juice. Okay, bye guys. Bye.